Mike Cardano with RotoExperts and the Fantasy Sports Network here with your Daily Fantasy Minute. Last season, Colorado Rockies outfielder Corey Dickerson started out underdrafted in season-long leagues, and for the better part of the first half of last season, underutilized in daily fantasy as well. Now, he was not anointed as a starter out of spring training, as the Rockies had a logjam in the outfield, and for the most part, he had to wait for some injuries to get his chance. He ran with it, and 12 months later, he's now one of the more valuable players in all formats of fantasy baseball, and certainly a staple of many winning DFS rosters in any given day. Enter this year's Corey Dickerson, Los Angeles Dodgers Cuban import, Alex Guerrero. Now, if not for having his ear bit off last season by Miguel Olivo in the minors, really can't make that stuff up, he would have likely been brought up last year as he was dominating at the AAA level after an 8-year Cuban All-Star career playing second base that started when he was just 17 years old. Now, I think the record is pretty clear of late that these top players coming from other leagues around the world, for the most part, end up becoming top players here as well. Now, I'm not going to bother quoting his Cuban stats because the number of games they play in the Cuban season is less than we play here in the States, so it's hard to make a statistical comparison to major league seasons. But go take a look for yourself, and you'll see a consistent stat record that makes Robinson Cano's career stats appear, well, very ordinary. Now, yesterday, Guerrero got his first major league start filling in for an ailing Juan Uribe at third base. 3 for 5 with a home run and 4 RBI later, and Guerrero showed everyone why the Dodgers signed him to a 4-year, $28 million contract. Now, I'm not suggesting that Juan Uribe will be Wally pipped, although I think he should be, but I would expect that Guerrero at the very least will be finding time at second base, shortstop, and third base this season, and even perhaps the outfield, making him a very interesting play in daily going forward. Depending on where the sites you are playing will be making him eligible as the season progresses, Guerrero could be a very useful swing DFS player this year. Now, the Dodgers will find ways to get Guerrero's bat in the lineup a lot more often than the depth charts currently show, and I think he's going to become this year's Corey Dickerson. All right, looking at today's games, I like Jacob deGrom in the afternoon session. Now, he's pitching the Mets' home opener against a Phillies offense that just isn't very good. It's filled mostly with veteran players trying to prove their value to a pennant contender. Now, there isn't much BVP data available as Phillies players only have 17 career at-bats against deGrom, and while the Philadelphia power threats Chase Utley and Ryan Howard do have the platoon advantage here, I'd be shocked if they see anything good to hit, as deGrom is going to force others to beat him, and I just don't see anyone else doing any damage. Now, in the later games, I like Yankees starter Michael Pineda. By all accounts, he's now 100% healthy, and I think that makes him underpriced across DFS sites. He's pitching in a ballpark in Baltimore tonight, where DFS players don't often like to throw pitchers because they fear home runs. But Pineda has only given up 0.8 of a home run per 9 innings pitched throughout his career, making the ballpark factor a non-issue for me, and he doesn't walk anyone, which gives him a large margin for error should he happen to make a mistake and leave one over the plate. Now, a word of caution here, or in this case, a disclosure. The Yankees defense has been awful to start the season, forcing their pitchers to get more than 3 outs way too often. But I see this as more of an anomaly, and I think that they're going to get this corrected going forward. On the offensive side, I like the Angels' right-handed hitters against Ross Detweiler. Now, the Rangers lefty had a rough first outing, giving up 5 runs in 4 1/3, and he's had a tough time getting right-handed hitters out throughout his career. Righties have hit .286 against Detweiler with an OPS of .782. Now, Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, they're obvious starters, right? But David Freese is an interesting play here, as he's hit .316 with an OPS of .863 off lefties in his career. Detweiler pitches to contact, and I expect opportunities plenty for right-handed hitters in the Angels lineup today. So check out that lineup thoroughly when it's published. Now, last I looked, it's still April, which means you're going to want to have your head on a swivel with regard to weather. And I've got just the thing for you. I can't tell you how valuable it is to have someone else taking care of keeping you up to date on weather issues while you go about your life around dinner time with roster lock time closing in. And if you're looking for site-specific recommendations, including value plays, tournament plays, and cash game plays, check out the premium products on dailyroto.com, put together by Drew Dinkmeyer, Mike Leone, and the most respected team in the business. Their email alerts are golden. They'll keep you from missing all the last-minute changes in weather and the last-second lineup substitutions, and the forums on the site are jam-packed with useful interactivity and information like strategy suggestions benefiting the entire user community. So head on over and check out dailyroto.com. Good luck today, everyone. Let's get off to a great week 2. I'm Mike Cardano, and this has been your Daily Fantasy Minute.